For today's video, I am going to do a full face of Rare Beauty. I have done quite a few videos about Rare Beauty on my channel before. I've done a lot of swatch videos, swatching like all the shades of the lip oils, all the shades of the liquid blushes, also swatching the highlighters and all that stuff, but I don't think I've done a full face of Rare Beauty, so I figured it is time to do that. So before I get into the video, if you're not already subscribed and you enjoy beauty, skincare, sometimes home decor related content, then I would absolutely love it if you would go ahead and subscribe to my channel, but let's go ahead and get right into it. So starting off with the primer. So this is the Pore Diffusing Primer. I have a little mini size of this. Now, to be completely honest, I have not used this a whole lot, and that's just because I typically just like don't think to use a primer that often, but this does look really nice. I have used it a few times. I haven't used it in a while though, but I saw Selena demoing it in one of her videos and I was like, I need to use that again. It looks really good. So I definitely can kind of feel that it does feel like smoothing on the skin. So I think it's gonna do a good job at making base products just apply more smoothly to the skin, just help it sit on the skin better and also make the makeup last longer. Smooths out the pores a little bit, has a little bit of a blurring effect. So then on to the tinted moisturizer. So this is the Positive Light Tinted Moisturizer. It has SPF 20 in here, and I have this in the shade 16C. I actually also have another one in the shade 10C, but 16C is the one that I have open. And this is described as a light with cool peach undertones, and the 10C is described as light with neutral undertones. So maybe if you're similar skin tone to me, maybe either of these shades can work for you, because I do think that both of these shades can work well for me. So I'm just gonna take a little bit onto my hands. Now normally I would just use like another sunscreen. I wouldn't normally use this as like my sunscreen for the day, but you could if you wanted to. You just have to make sure that you use enough of it. I find that just applying this with my hands is the best way to do it, and it does feel really nice on the skin. I feel like the first time I used this, I wasn't like a huge fan of this, just because I personally kind of sometimes like something with a little bit more coverage, and I personally normally prefer like a fully mineral formula when it comes to sunscreen. This does have homosalate in it, which I typically just prefer to not use in sunscreens. That's just my personal preference. I normally just prefer totally mineral based sunscreens, so I think that's also a reason that I don't reach for this super often. But as you can see, it's not going to give a whole lot of coverage, just going to kind of slightly even out the skin tone a little bit, but it doesn't really cover up any of my like post acne marks. Doesn't really provide much coverage, but it is just going to kind of even out the skin tone a little bit. I am going to apply a little bit more because I do want to see if I can just build up the coverage just a little bit. It still won't do a whole lot, but I think this is nice for just when you're going for like that no makeup look and you just want to kind of even out the skin tone just a little bit. And then next up, this is the under eye brightener, and I really like this. I have this in the shade light, and this is described as a neutral undertones to brighten fair to light complexions. I think the shade works very well for me. This is the lightest shade I believe that they have. But I also really like the applicator. At first I wasn't so sure about it, but I've been using it for quite a while now, and I've actually come to really like it. It's very cooling to the touch. Definitely I feel like it's kind of like depuffing when you use it, so I get kind of like you're going for like brightening the under eyes, and it's also going to kind of help with soothing the under eyes as well. I'm just doing this just because of the cool feeling of the applicator. It just feels really nice and cooling. And I just blend it out with a sponge. So there it is. I'm just gonna apply just a little bit more right here. And then the bronzer stick. So I have tried this in two different shades. This is the shade Bright Side, and I also have the shade Power Boost. I have done a comparison video where I demoed each shade on one side of my face and one on the other side of my face, so definitely check that out if you're curious in seeing a comparison between those two shades. But I personally prefer the shade Bright Side, and this is described as a soft tan with cool undertones. So that's what I'm gonna use today, and I do really love the formula of this. It's so creamy, it's so quick and easy to blend in. I just find that it's super easy to work with. You can't really mess up with it. So I really enjoy this. Like, oh, it's just so creamy. And as you'll see, when I start blending this in, it just melts into the skin. I'm just using this Ficlo Beauty brush. This brush, I think it's their foundation brush, but it's a really nice like angled design, which I think works really well for applying contour or bronzer. And this brush is super soft. So as you could just see, it was just so quick to blend in. There it is, all blended out, blends out so easy. It looks so nice and seamless on the skin. Then moving on to their liquid blush, I really have been enjoying the shade Bliss. Bliss is described as a nude pink, and this has a matte finish. Again, I have done a whole swatch video swatching every single shade of the liquid blushes, so if you are trying to figure out which shades you might like the best or just want to see what they look like applied on the skin, then definitely check out that video. Hopefully it will help you figure out what shades you like the best. But I'm gonna apply the shade Bliss, and this is the lightest shade, I believe, out of all of the shades, or just like the lightest pink shade. And this just is like the perfect everyday pink. I've especially been loving it for summer. And I do normally just blend it out with a sponge, and I find that with this one, I can actually do 2 dots. And it's not going to be as crazy pigmented. Now, some of the shades you definitely only want to do 1 dot, or honestly even less than like a full dot, because they are so pigmented. So some shades are definitely more pigmented than others, and the shade Bliss is one where it's a little bit less pigmented, where you can apply a little bit more product without it ending up looking crazy on the skin or looking like you apply too much blush. So again, I normally use a sponge, but this brush from Rare Beauty is also really nice. This is the blush brush, and this is a nice like angled design, good for applying blush. I also find that when I do use the brush rather than a sponge, as you can see, this one definitely makes it so more pigment shows on the skin, whereas using the sponge is definitely going to also sheer it out a little bit. But this shade in general, still, even with the brush, it's not like overly pigmented, so I can still apply like the 2 dots that I did. So I'm gonna apply a little bit more on this side because I feel like the sponge just kind of took away a little bit of the product. So now I'm gonna use the brush on this side to get a little bit more pigment, and then I'll go back and I'll use a sponge to blend it out even more, just to sheer it out, because it was actually starting to look like a bit too much because I put too much. I put more than 2 dots. But see, it still doesn't look like overly blushed. Now I'm gonna go back to the face, but now I want to hop over to the brows. So I was so excited that Rare Beauty recently launched a brow pencil, and actually I saw that they had like a brow pencil and gel duo. I don't know why I wasn't aware of that. But now they launched another version of a brow pencil, and I have been really enjoying this. I have the lightest shade. The lightest shade is called Soft Blonde, and this is supposed to be good for platinum blonde to light blonde hair. I originally thought that the shade Rich Taupe would be better for me, and that is described as for medium to dark blonde hair. I did just get my hair balayage, so my hair is a little bit brighter, but it's definitely not platinum blonde. But I still find that the shade Soft Blonde works perfectly for me. It really just like matches my brow hairs just like perfectly, and I really like the angled design on this applicator. It reminds me of the Kosas Brow Pop brow pencil, and that is like my absolute favorite brow pencil. It's definitely my most used brow pencil, so I really like that it has that similar design of that angled applicator. I just find that it makes it really quick and easy to work with. You can draw in those hair-like strokes and also really kind of like draw in your brows if you want to. It's just really nice and easy to work with. This formula is also waterproof, which is really nice, so that makes it awesome for summer. And if you're swimming, or if you just want it to last really well throughout the day, it's nice that it's waterproof. So see how just quick and easy that was to work with? And then it does have a spoolie on the other side. So I always want my brow products to have a spoolie, just makes it convenient, because I always like to brush through my brows after I apply the product. So here is the spoolie on the other side. And then Rare Beauty also recently launched a brow gel. This is called their lifting gel, and this is just a clear brow gel, and this is really going to hold your brows in place. If you're familiar with like that laminated brow look, I feel like you can kind of achieve that with this if you want. You don't have to use it like that. You could just use it to just really set your brows in place and hold your brows in place, because this definitely does a really great job at holding your brows in place. But you can also kind of, as you can kind of see here, you can kind of like go back and forth like you would if you're trying to do that laminated brow look, and really get that kind of look, which I think is really cool. Normally on a day-to-day basis, I will just quickly brush through my brows with this, and that'll be it. I'll just use it to keep my brows in place. But it is fun that you can kind of achieve that like laminated brow look if you want to. And with this look, I really want to go for like youthful, really like pink look. So I'm going to be using a lot of the pink shades in this when it comes to blush and eyeshadow. So one of the also newer launches from Rare Beauty are the All of the Above eyeshadow sticks. I'm going to use 2 shades now. I have done a swatch video for these. If you do want to check that out, I'll link the video somewhere up here so you can check that out if you want to. I'm going to use the shade Integrity, which is a champagne shade, and then also the shade Wellbeing, which is described as a soft pink. So I'm gonna use the shade Wellbeing. I'm gonna use this all over my lid. This is gonna just give that really pretty, like youthful pink look. So I just kind of draw it on, and then I'll blend it out with my finger. I do wish that they were a little bit easier to blend, but I still like the whole idea of just being able to like pop on an eyeshadow quickly. It's just kind of a one and done product, so quick to do. Some of the other shades I feel like are a little bit more difficult to blend because this is a lighter shade. It is like less obvious if it looks a little bit patchy. And then I'm going to take the shade Integrity, which is the champagne shade, and I'm just going to pop this on the inner corners. And then I'm also going to use this to highlight the brow bone a little bit. Another one of Rare Beauty's new launches are their gel eyeliners. I'm going to use the shade Brown. Normally I'm not a huge eyeliner wearer, so I'm not experienced in like doing wings or anything like that. I'm just going to do a simple line, and sometimes I kind of like to smudge out eyeliner when I do it just to kind of give it a little bit of a softer look. But these do have a really nice creamy formula. They are supposed to be long wearing, and I have worn this throughout a whole day before to test how long wearing it is, and it did last really well throughout the day. So I definitely think that they are long wearing. I did use a setting spray that day, but even then I just still think that it probably would have lasted well throughout the day even if I didn't do a setting spray. Oh, also something about the eyeshadow sticks is that they come with a built-in sharpener, which is really cool. I didn't even realize that at first when I first tried them. And so it makes it so you can sharpen them if you want to, and if you need like a more of a point. So you can use it for, they're supposed to be kind of like an all-in-one product where you can use it as an eyeshadow, you can use it for drawing like a precise like eyeliner, or using it as a highlighter. So you can use it in a variety of ways. I'll even kind of demo it as a highlighter on my nose by just applying a little bit on my nose, or you could even use it for like highlighting the tops of the cheekbones. I don't want to apply it too much right now because I am going to use some of the other products for highlighters, but you can use it in a variety of ways. So I just wanted to mention that. Let's finish the eyes. I'm going to curl my eyelashes and then apply the mascara. The mascara is my favorite. It has been my most used mascara for probably like, I want to say like a year now. So there's the mascara. It looks so nice. It lengthens and somewhat kind of lifts my lashes as well. My lashes normally just droop down when I apply mascara, but I find with this one, it kind of keeps the curl a little bit more than other mascaras, so I really like it. So then moving on, let's go back to the face. I'm going to use the luminizer. This is the liquid luminizer in the shade Mesmerize. This is described as a rose bronze. Now, I'm just going to use just a tiny bit of this. I'm just going to apply a little bit on the back of my hand. And then I'm going to take my sponge, just kind of dab it out so that way it's not a super harsh application, but just kind of lightly apply it. That way it looks more soft and it looks a bit more skin-like rather than just applying it directly to the face like with the applicator. Could apply it with my fingers too, but I find that applying it with the sponge is going to make it look even more natural. And then for highlighter, the Rare Beauty powder highlighters are absolutely beautiful. I have done a swatch video swatching all 4 shades. Now I normally use the shade Exhilarate or Enlighten. Exhilarate is the shade that I use the most. This is described as a champagne gold. I also really like the shade Enlighten. Enlighten is described as a cool champagne. Sometimes I feel like this can look a little bit too like almost like a little bit of a white cast type of thing on me sometimes, but it is really pretty and it is definitely one of my favorites as well. But today, since I used the luminizer in the shade Mesmerize, I'm gonna also use the powder highlighter in the shade Mesmerize. It's described as a rose gold. I'm gonna take the Rare Beauty highlighter brush and I'm just gonna lightly dust this on the tops of the cheekbones just because I really want to go for that pinky look. Then for the lips, so I'm gonna use the Kind Words matte lip liner in the shade Lively. Lively is described as a rose pink shade, so I'm just gonna line my lips. This formula is really nice. Again, I have done a swatch video swatching all of the shades of the lip liners and also the lipsticks. Really nice creamy formula. And I can kind of smudge it out a little bit. Then I'm going to use the Kind Words matte lipstick in the same shade, Lively. And then I also wanted to demo one of the lip oils in today's video. I'm not totally sure if the shade is going to go well with the lip color that I have on right now, but I'm just going to apply a little bit just to demo one of the lip oils. I have also done a swatch video swatching all the shades for the lip oil, so definitely check out that if you're interested. This is the shade Hope, and this is described as a nude mauve. I'm just gonna take just a little bit on my finger and kind of dab it onto my lips just to give a little bit of a glossy look. And then to finish off, I'm gonna use the Always an Optimist 4-in-1 mist. I really like this setting mist. I find it does a great job at really kind of like making the makeup really just kind of melt into your skin more, making it look a little bit more natural and less makeup-y, I guess. And I also find that this does a really good job at making my makeup last longer. I really like this. The mister on this is also really nice. It gives a really nice like fine mist. It's not gonna mess up your makeup. It's not gonna be too harsh of a spritz when you're applying it. It's just a nice fine mist. So it's a really light mist when you're applying it to your face. I do want to go in and curl my eyelashes one more time. I know it's probably a makeup don't to curl your lashes after you've already applied mascara, but I'm gonna do it anyway. So there it is. There is the completed look. I absolutely love so many of these products. The brow products are definitely favorites of mine. The mascara, the bronzer, the blushes. There's so many good products from Rare Beauty. Honestly, there are rarely any launches that I don't like. So I'm a huge fan of Rare Beauty. If you guys are interested in checking out any of the products that I mentioned in today's video or used for today's makeup look, I will have everything listed and linked in the description box below. If you want to see even more of my Rare Beauty videos, definitely check out my Rare Beauty playlist. I will list it in the description box below. And if you'd like to see even more content from me in the future and you're not already subscribed, I would absolutely love it if you would go ahead and subscribe to my channel. Also, make sure to hit the notification bell so that you do get notified when I post new videos, because I know a lot of times even when you're subscribed, you don't always get notified when the person posts new videos. So definitely make sure that you hit the notification bell. And if you enjoyed this video, please let me know by giving me a thumbs up. If you have any questions about any of these products, let me know on the comment section below. Also, let me know which Rare Beauty products are your favorite in the comments below. But anyway, thank you all so much for watching, and I hope to see you for my next video.